Welcome to today's Tutor to You Sociology topic video on media. In this video we're going to look at the work of Bagdikian on the media monopoly. Bagdikian was a prominent media critic and journalist whose work focused on the concentration of media ownership and its impact on democracy. His most influential book, The Media Monopoly, argued that a small number of powerful corporations control much of the media, which restricts the diversity of information and perspectives available to the public. The most recent edition of Bagdikian's work, retitled The New Media Monopoly and published in 2004, remains important in understanding how media ownership shapes what we see, hear and read. Bagdikian's research is crucial for examining how power and control are exercised through the media and how this affects society and political decision-making. Bagdikian's main argument in the media monopoly is that media ownership has become increasingly concentrated in the hands of a few large corporations. When he first published his book in 1983, Bagdikian noted that about 50 corporations controlled most of the major media outlets in the United States. By the time of the book's last edition in 2004, that number had shrunk to just 5 major corporations, including companies like Time Warner, Disney, News Corp, and Viacom. This process is often referred to as media consolidation, where smaller media outlets are bought by larger companies, reducing the number of independent voices in the media landscape. Bagdikian argued that concentrated media ownership is dangerous for democracy. In theory, a diverse media environment allows for a wide range of views and debates, which helps the public make informed decisions, especially in a democracy. However, when a small number of corporations control most of the media, it limits the diversity of opinions and the variety of information available to the public. One of the dangers of concentrated ownership is corporate bias. The owners of media companies often have their own political or economic interests, and these interests can shape the news and entertainment content that their media outlets produce. For example, if a media corporation has close ties to a particular political party or business, it might promote content that supports those interests and downplay or ignore content that challenges them. A well-known example of media concentration is Rupert Murdock and his global media empire, News Corp. Murdock owns major newspapers like The Times and The Sun in the UK, The Wall Street Journal in the US, and television networks such as Fox News. His ownership of such a vast range of media outlets gives him considerable influence over public opinion and politics. For instance, Fox News has been criticised for promoting a conservative political agenda in the US, reflecting Murdock's political leanings. In Britain, Murdoch's The Sun is well known for influencing elections. The newspaper has a history of supporting different political parties, often at critical moments in national elections. For example, in the 1997 UK general election, The Sun famously shifted its support from the Conservative Party to Tony Blair's Labour Party, which some analysts believe contributed to Labour's landslide victory. Bagdikian warned that when media ownership is concentrated into the hands of a few, the owner's political and economic agendas can have a significant impact on the public's access to unbiased, diverse information. Bagdikian's work also highlights how media concentration affects the content that is produced. When a few large corporations control most of the media, they are more likely to prioritize profit over quality journalism. This can lead to a shift towards more entertainment-focused content, like celebrity gossip and sensational stories, rather than in-depth investigative reporting on important issues like politics, economics, or social justice. This profit-driven focus can also lead to a phenomenon known as the homogenization of media, where different media outlets produce very similar content, leaving little room for alternative perspectives. For example, when major news organizations are owned by the same parent company, they may share resources and news stories, resulting in less diversity in the news. While Bagdikian's work has been highly influential, some critics argue that the internet and social media have challenged the dominance of traditional media corporations, with platforms like YouTube, Twitter, and independent blogs. Individuals now have more power to create and distribute content without needing large media corporations. This suggests that media diversity might be increasing with the rise of new media. However, sociologists like James Curran and John Seaton, in their book Power Without Responsibility, caution that even in the digital age, major tech companies like Google, Facebook, and Amazon have come to dominate the internet, leading to new forms of media concentration. These companies control vast amounts of data and have significant power in shaping what content people see online, echoing some of Bagdikian's concerns about corporate control. Bagdikian's work on media ownership highlights the risks of concentrated media power in limiting the diversity of information and perspectives available to the public. His research shows how a small number of powerful corporations control much of the media landscape, influencing public opinion and democracy. Although the rise of the internet has introduced new opportunities for independent media, Bagdikian's warnings about the dangers of corporate control remain relevant today, as new forms of concentration have emerged in the digital space. Bagdikian's work offers important insights into how media ownership shapes the content we consume and the information we rely on to understand the world around us. That concludes this Tutor You Sociology topic video on media, looking at the work of Ben Bagdikian and the media monopoly. Thanks for watching.